welcome to another exciting episode. Today we will be talking about how to be a morning person. How to be a morning person. But the first tip I want to give today is that productivity is not really about when you wake up, but what you do while you are awake. So it's not necessarily important that you are 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Like we all know, every one of us have different patterns of life. Some are nocturnal and some are really early birds, early risers. So the most important thing is to do what really works for you and what really makes a whole lot of sense when it comes to your personal composition and how you really function. But if you really want to be a morning person or an early riser, maybe because for now you can't really afford to really have a flexible schedule, especially if you're nocturnal, if you're a student or you have a 9-to-5 job at the moment and you really cannot help it but wake up early and it's demanding a whole lot of productivity from you, then I'll share these tips with you. Now, the first tip, I think everyone already knows that, is that if you want to rise up early, then you have to go to bed early. I can remember a couple of times ago, some few years ago, I was actually more nocturnal than an early riser, although now I am absolutely an early riser. I wake up at 3:30, 4 a.m. consistently every day, and I am at the top of my energy if I really want to. How did I change? I started practicing learning how to sleep early. Now, if you're nocturnal, that's really going to be very difficult. I remember when I started, it wasn't so easy. I really had to force myself to sleep. So some of the tips I employed then was making sure that I shower. I don't know, but there's really something about showering, getting into something comfy to rest. It's psychological, I guess, and sets you in the mood to sleep. And then something else I do is that I turn off the light. I make sure that the temperature of the room is comfortable. If you like a highly aerated room, then get it aerated. If you like a very warm room, get it warm. If you like it a bit slightly hot, then do that. And I just relax. Now, it's not going to happen all in a moment. Sometimes you could some people may spend up to an hour before they get that sleep because your body is already used to a certain kind of cycle and a whole pattern to which you sleep. But you have to intentionally train that you have to wake up. Now, I'm not a fan for waking up with alarms. I do set alarms, but I believe that our body is self-regulated and we could actually teach our bodies to wake up exactly when we need it to. In ancient times, they didn't use alarms, but they actually had good sleep and fairly good health. And that's because there are different stages of sleep that your body goes through that it actually has to get through for you to feel that satisfaction. Have you ever woken up before and you felt really way tired than you were before you started sleeping? Now, that will be because you didn't allow your body go through the full cycle of sleep before you stood up. So I could encourage using an alarm at the beginning so that your body gets used to a certain rhythm of sleep. But over time, what I'm trying to say is that it's way better to just set your body on self-prompt. I don't really need an alarm to wake up. Every time I wake up in the morning, except very few times, it's within the range of 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning, which is really adequate. And that set aside, number one, you're preparing yourself for sleep. You knowing that it's going to take time for you to adjust, so you have to put in the work. Sometimes you have to stay a month, 28 days to maybe sometimes 90 days, and you reset your system. You start with an alarm, but the goal is to be able to wake up without one, where your body gets to know that, we've had enough sleep and we usually wake up at this time, and that will reduce the exhaustion that you feel when you wake up in the morning when you depend on an alarm. There's something about an alarm that really causes exhaustion. So you may wake up, but I think the goal for wanting to be a morning person is not just waking up, but being at the top of your energy. I remembered a couple of months ago, maybe 1 or 2, a Sunday morning, someone was actually in my house and I woke them up and we were about to do some task. And I was really energetic. I was really in the top of my mood. And the person was like, "What? Why are you this excited and so energetic in the morning?" Because I feel the most of my energy, believe me, at 4 a.m. in the morning. I am most excited at 4 a.m. And as the time goes, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, energy kind of tanks. But that's not good. I've started learning, and maybe I'll share in the next podcast how you get to maintain your energy. Because if you're an entrepreneur, or if you have a business, or you have something you're doing, your competitive edge is the ability to maintain your energy across the day. So if your energy is going to get tanked, then I think you're not so competitive in the world of entrepreneurship or leadership or whatever you're doing. But in essence, what I'm trying to say concerning me is that I am more really energetic in the morning. I think that's why you're listening to this podcast, how to really be energetic when you wake up. So let's take a quick recap. You have to make the best mood for your sleeping. You have to know it takes time. I think I repeated that already. You have to maybe start with an alarm, but remember the goal is not to continue with an alarm. Now let's get to when you wake up. When I wake up, you have to set up yourself for success. Now, waking up, like we said, is not the goal. You have things to do. So when I wake up, the first thing I do, if you're using an alarm, it's always advisable to place your alarm away from the bed. So put your alarm somewhere far off. Put your alarm not somewhere close where you could easily just press the snooze button. I've actually shared a room with some people, and really sometimes it could be annoying because the alarm just keeps ringing and 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 ringing. And it wakes everybody except the person who set the alarm. I believe each and every one of us have gone through that process before. So set the alarm and put your phone a bit far away. So it means for you to turn off the alarm, you have to actually stand up and then turn it off. It will help you a little bit with waking up. Although I hear some people say they've actually mastered the act of standing up, turning off the alarm, going back to bed and sleeping again, then you're not a serious person because you just replaced one bad habit with another. And that really shows you that you can actually learn and you can engage any skill that you want to do. So that will really help you if you're really dealing with snoozing. Yeah, that's a problem, snoozing, and not really paying so much attention to your alarm. So when you stand up, the first thing I would like to do, or the first thing I do, is to get into the main activity of the day. When I started with push-ups every morning. So I get on a routine that gets you moving. So I start with a push-up. Sometimes I don't do a lot of push-ups, just like 10, 15, just to get me sweating. And then I go take a shower, and then I get a tea, green tea with lemon, and then I start reading. And then when I read, and then my prayers and my word study, etc., I listen to my motivation as well. The next thing I do is to get onto the task of the day. So the first thing I try to do is to get me awake. This may be different for different people. Some people I know, they try to lay their bed. They try to complete something to make their brain know that, yes, we are started on moving on. So I think this is where we'll conclude today for the first episode. I'll continue talking about some of the practical steps that I've employed to be a morning person. But by the way, remember, you really don't have to be a morning person. If you can walk around your schedule, I think you should set up yourself for success. Productivity is not about when you wake up, but productivity is what do you do when you're awake. So it doesn't mean people wake up early in the morning are more productive than people who wake up a bit later. You could wake up early in the morning just for waking up sake and still do nothing with your life. That's really serious. And someone can wake up at 10 and then they really plan their life. So if you look across great people, not all the people in the world who are successful wake up at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. I know about a group of some of them who wake up around 11 or 12. And that's because sometimes some of them prefer to work late at night. But it's just really good if you could start early, and it gives you the competitive edge. But that set aside, thank you for listening today, and I'll hope to talk to you some other time. Bye.